Hey everyone, this is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row. Thanks so much for listening to the following broadcast, courtesy of Public House Media.
Hello, everybody. It is the 100th episode of No Filter Friday. I'm Public House Media. I can literally not believe it. It's finally here. It's finally happened. And what's so crazy is I timed this out, I don't know, over the summer or something, like a long time ago, like a long time ago. So I know I was sitting at my desk at Snapchat. I'm like, oh, when's my 100th going to roll around? I'm like, oh, it's going to be like right around Giving Tuesday. Boom. Despite the fact that I took several dark weeks for travel and for holidays, or the network took dark weeks for holidays, and then on top of it, like, I did a bunch of bonus episodes in there. We were doing, 2 episodes every single Friday. David Bobke, is that you? Is that you that came in? Does it sound okay? Can you please leave a comment? It still ended up at the exact same time that I thought it was going to be, which to me is amazing. So I'm sitting here with you and some look. Oh, it's Lauren. Hello, Lauren. Thanks for coming in. Doing the 100th episode. It's mind blowing to me. I really wanted to have like some sort of a function, like a big giant to do. Or even bigger than the 50th episode, because if you remember, the 50th episode I did from Austin, Texas during the Austin Film Festival. And we did, there was balloons, we had a lot of food, people drank a lot. It was like a whole thing. And I thought I was gonna get a balloon again. And it didn't happen. No balloons this time. But you know what? Considering I was in Bali for a week, working on myself and, all of this. And then when I came back from Bali, it was time for Thanksgiving. So the network Public House Media had a dark week. I haven't sat in this, well, I mean, I've sat in this chair, it's my desk, but I haven't sat in this chair with you, which is the important part, in like 3 weeks, which is crazy to me. So, and even before that, we had a couple episodes, and then before that, I had another dark week because I was in India. So, we're just having grooves. We're just having grooves. And lo and behold, 100th episode fell on the day that I thought it was going to fall on months and months and months ago, which is crazy to me. So I'm going to take a second to share the show, and you should too. Because this is a milestone. We have been sitting here for 100 episodes. Most podcasts don't make it. The network took dark weeks for holiday. We're just having grooves. Lo and behold, 100. I'm playing myself. Most podcasts don't make it past 25 episodes, which is crazy. So. Why can't I just share this from my page? Like, why does this have to be so difficult? Anyway, so most podcasts don't even make it out of the gate hardly. And here we are together as a group. Me and David Bobke, we've been rocking for 100 episodes. He's been engineering for me for 100 episodes. That's dedication. Most of you can't even get a tap back. And here's David Bobke engineering for me for 100 episodes. 2 years. Over 2 years now. So, suck on that, America. Anyway, this is taking forever. Dude, the Wi-Fi in my house sucks. It's terrible. My phone does better without it. My phone is better off alone. Anyway, the point is that, here we go. Okay, finally I can share. Oh my goodness. The spillage post. Okay. So, before I went to Bali, and when I say before, I mean hours before. Like, I went and did this, and then I got on a plane. I moderated the Me Too panel at the Female Filmmaker Fuse Film Festival in Pasadena. I've been a guest on Female Filmmaker Fuse, the show on LA Talk Radio, twice, I think. Yeah, twice. And Alexa Polar, the lady that runs it, and I have become fast friends from day one. And she asked me to come. She's like, who better to moderate this Me Too panel than you? I'm like, oh, you want to talk about terrible things? Of course it has to be me. Like, who else would it be? So I went to Pasadena, and I moderated the panel with Sarah Ann Massey, who is a part of the Weinstein case in California. She was his nanny, and then terrible things happened. And then Melissa Schumann, who has had all kinds of problems with Nick Carter. And then, her last name is Tyther. I think it's Tyther Cook. But anyway, and then somebody that we've talked about a lot on this show, one of the James Franco accusers, and she's involved in a lawsuit with him as well. So it was juicy. It was juicy. It was down and dirty. It was definitely down and dirty, but it was juicy, and it was a really, really good event, and everybody got to say what they wanted to say. And to my knowledge, that's one of the only times that anybody has gotten together a plethora of Me Too ladies in the same spot. So that's so weird. It looks like there's a blue thing there, but there's not. Anyway, so it was really, really amazing. And then I think if you pop on over to Female Filmmaker Fuse podcast, you can probably hear that audio, but it was really interesting. We talked about Paris Hilton's involvement with the Carters, and what James Franco had been up to, in depth, and how, like, the aftermath of that, and like how that's going legally. And then what else did we talk about? And then we just talked about a lot of, how people deal with trauma. Honestly, that's what we've talked about a lot, and a lot of Harvey Weinstein's MOs. Oh, Baxter, you're awake? Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. You're awake, son? That's crazy. Thank you for coming in, though. I appreciate it. But anyway, so speaking of Harvey, so that was what I was doing before Bali. And if you want to go listen to that audio, you totally can on the Female Filmmaker Fuse podcast, which is super cool and really informative. And it just worked out so beautifully, because I've been meaning to have Sarah Ann Massey on the show for the longest time, and her and I haven't been able to get it together. But we didn't have to get it together. The universe smushed it together. So, Baxter Colburn, congrats on the 100th, though. I had to support. You do support me. You do support me, Baxter. Like, in here, on the inside. Despite the fact that I'm constantly making a mess of things and I don't deserve it. So, let's talk about Mr. Raggedy himself, Harvey Weinstein. He has pulled out a new stratosphere of raggedy. You have to see this. It is too funny. If you type in Harvey Weinstein feeble into Google, this is what you're going to get, and it's hilarious. For those of you that are podcast listeners and not watching the live show, I don't care what you're doing. Pause and go look at this picture. If you look at nothing, go look at this. It is hilarious. Oh, that's not even the good one. Hang on a second. So the headline is, Vanity Fair, Harvey Weinstein literally hobbles out of the latest court hearing ahead of rape trial. I think he got a cane. Oh no, he didn't go full cane yet. I don't think. All right, so look at this. Look at this. Hobbling out of court in New York. This is hilarious. I always say that this show writes itself, because it does. And it writes itself because of what Harvey Weinstein's up to, and then R. Kelly, which we'll get to, later in a second. But, I was thinking about it, and I should be grateful for Harvey Weinstein because, like, he made this whole show. Although the show shouldn't exist, period. We shouldn't have to talk about this, but we do. And he is like a gift to this show, basically. Like, he's running it. This is the only show. What is this? These things, these red and blue, that does not exist in real life. That's so bizarre. I have no clue what that is. That's so weird. I hope that's not like the Clintons marking me for death or anything. Although I feel like if that was going to happen, it would have happened a while ago. That would have happened a year ago when I was diving into that. Anyway, besides the point. Harvey is showing out these days, and it is too funny. Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein returned to a Manhattan court appearing noticeably feeble on Friday for a fresh bail hearing over his sexual assault case in connection with New York's criminal justice reform. New York prosecutors asked Judge James Burke to increase Mr. Weinstein's bail from $1 million to $5 million, arguing that the former head of Miramax and Weinstein Company had failed at times to wear his mandated electronic tracking device. See, I told you he was still wearing the ankle bracelet, but this is hilarious. It's too funny. That works with his ankle bracelet. According to news agencies, the judge scheduled another hearing for Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a good time. That's going to be a great hump day for us here at No Filter Friday. Mr. Weinstein, 67, arrived in court in a gray suit, limping and supported at times by a cane or handlers. His dick didn't need a cane when it was finding its way into places it shouldn't be. Trifling. Just ridiculous. Anyway, his appearance came as a result of an overhaul of New York's criminal justice system that seeks to eliminate cash bail for the most nonviolent crimes. Sexual assault is a violent crime, kids. I don't know if the state of New York considers it a violent crime or not, but I can assure you in real life, legalese aside, it is definitely a violent crime. The new rules are set to take effect at the beginning of next year, just days before his trial on sexual assault charges, including rape, begins on January 6th. Mr. Weinstein has denied those charges but could face a life sentence if found guilty. The disgraced mogul behind successful movies such as Pulp Fiction and Shakespeare in Love. Oh, God, we're still writing Shakespeare in Love? Jesus, it wasn't that good. My God. God love Leo, but faced a wave of sexual abuse accusations 2 years ago. The allegations triggered the hashtag MeToo movement and propelled the Weinstein Company into Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. And then I did several shows on the sale and the fold of that. Okay, so let's get over to Vanity Fair, because Vanity Fair gets into this whole ankle bracelet situation, and it is too funny. Too funny. The reason that they argued that the bail should be set higher to $5 million is because he had allegedly racked up 56 violations regarding his ankle monitor, according to New York Magazine. If you'll remember, he's been out at Actors Hour, he's been out at Cipriani, he's been bouncing around having coffee in Manhattan, and I'm like, what about his ankle bracelet? What happened to that? He's supposed to be on house arrest in Connecticut, of all places. Like, what's going on here? Vanity Fair will tell us. According to New York Magazine, Weinstein, who is out of $1 million bail, wears a 2-part monitoring device, aka his ankle bracelet, and has left the signaling part of the device in one place and the other device somewhere else, the outlet noted. This is where it gets hilarious. I hope you're sitting down or at least have some toilet paper near. Here is a man who has run multi-million-dollar businesses and has juggled many, many issues at the same time, Aluzzi Oberon argued per New York Magazine. It defies logic to believe that he cannot navigate his device with him when he travels outside of his home. This is where it gets even funnier. Donna Rotunno, one of Weinstein's many lawyers, pushed back on his claim, saying, these violations are really nothing more than technical glitches. Sometimes that 2-piece device loses battery, so he has to charge it. His phone's charged. Why isn't his ankle bracelet charged? I'll wait. He's never with his phone, obviously. And he's surely at this point he's got more than one phone. He at least has 1 or 2 trap phones. He must. There's no way around it. This is tough on anybody going through this and dealing with the scrutiny, not only in the courtroom, but in the court of public opinion. Rotunno also noted that Weinstein had been dealing with back problems. He had no problem putting his back into it. Now he's got a problem? Now he's got a problem putting his back. That's really interesting to me. Explain more, please, Mrs. Bertano. Though it's unclear if that will affect his trial, there is a precedent for physical ailments getting brought into the spotlight in 2016, for example. We've already talked about this. Bill Cosby's lawyers argued that during the hearings leading up to his sexual assault trial that the comedian was blind and that the condition would limit his ability to look at and identify certain accusers. Now this is the uptick here. This is where the story hairpins. Judge Jane Burke said that Weinstein's bail would not change for now. A new hearing has been scheduled for Wednesday. Weinstein's trial is set to begin January 6, 2020. Weinstein has been spotted out in New York in the months since his hearings began. The disgraced producer who fell from power in 2017 after being accused of sexual misconduct by more than 80 women was most recently seen at an artistic event in downtown New York in late October. So he has time to bop around Manhattan. He has time to charge his phone, all without the aid of a cane or, people to handhold him up and down the stairs. Oh, hello, Elizabeth. Thanks for coming in. But before trial, he's feeble. He's feeble. That's interesting to me. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. This is a hilarious joke. And honestly, if he's so bothered by the court of public opinion, then why would you go, pulling stunts like this is going to make people be like, really? Seriously? You couldn't charge your ankle bracelet that you're legally required to wear while you bop around Manhattan? Your maid can't charge your ankle bracelet? No one. There's no one in your house. Most of these people that are accusing him worked for him. Assistants, nannies, all up and down the food chain. And not a single one, surely those people can tell you that they were in charge of charging his various devices. Where are they now? Where are they now? Okay, so speaking of where are they now, we know where. Let's get over to R. Kelly. We know where Aaliyah is. She's 6 feet under. What we don't know is where the person that falsified an ID for her to marry R. Kelly's disgusting self. That we can't get a hold of. Okay, so R. Kelly back in court. As he will be for some time now, for the next year or so. R. Kelly used to bribe to marry Aaliyah when she was 15, charges say. He bribed a government employee in 1994 so that he could obtain a fake ID for the singer Aaliyah, a person familiar with the matter said. A persistent question that dogged R. Kelly's two-decade music career. How was he able to legally marry the singer Aaliyah in 1994 when she was only 15 years old? Able and desire are two different things, and I have questions for both of those things. On Thursday, federal prosecutors in Brooklyn accused Mr. Kelly of bribing an Illinois government employee on August 30th in 1994 in order to obtain a fake ID for Aaliyah, according to the indictment and a person familiar with the matter. The fake ID was to be used to obtain a marriage license that listed her as age 18. The person familiar with that matter said their marriage was later annulled. Okay, but it happened. Annulment is for silly church purposes. That's silly. That's archaic even. The new allegation expands on an existing racketeering indictment filed in New York against Mr. Kelly. New York is busy. New York is busy with pedophiles. Or sex criminals in general, against Mr. Kelly that accuses him of sexually exploiting underage girls and coercing them into illegal sexual activity. This year, Mr. Kelly, 52, has been criminally charged in several jurisdictions on allegations that he sexually abused minors, which we all know that's what happened. And now we got the receipts. So this is where this gets sad, folks. Hang on, let me see who else is coming in. 15, right? I know, Elizabeth, I know. 15 is young. Aaliyah, whose full name was Aaliyah Dana Houghton, died in 2001 in a plane crash. There are certain musicians to thank for that. That was not an accident. She is identified in the new indictment only as Jane Doe number 1. How sad is that? She can't even get her name on these. I mean, that's just, to me, that's heartbreaking, honestly. In an interview this year with ABC's Good Morning America, Stephen Greenberg, Mr. Kelly's lawyer, said that his client had no idea Aaliyah was 15 when they married. My understanding is that she did not claim to be 15 in it. Let's back this up. A lawyer, an adult lawyer representing an adult man, said his client had no idea Aaliyah was 15 when they married. My understanding is that she did not claim to be 15, and in order to get married, she had to lie about her age, Mr. Greenberg said at the time. Mr. Greenberg said on Thursday that the new indictment does not appear to materially alter the landscape. So how did the 15, so you're telling me, Mr. Lawyer, that the 15-year-old Aaliyah bribed a government employee in 1994 to make her some, I would say it's a janky ID, but clearly it was real. It was a bona fide identification. It was just, had a false birthday on it. To then get married to R. Kelly, who we all know, oh my God, Nick Nightwine. Oh my goodness. Nick Nightwine did know me when I was 15, so we're not even gonna talk about being 15 anymore. We're gonna pass that by. She didn't do this on her own volition. She wasn't 16, she couldn't drive herself. How did she get this ID? Did she order it in the mail? No, come on, stop, grown folks. Stop. You look stupid. Okay, so let's back this up. So somebody has reported on this before. More than 2 decades ago, Vibe magazine reported that an Illinois marriage license for Mr. Kelly and Aaliyah listed her age as 18. Mr. Kelly, whose name is Robert Kelly, was 27 at the time. The license was dated August 31st, 1994, and the day after Mr. Kelly allegedly paid the bribe. In the Brooklyn investigation, prosecutors have obtained marriage and annulment records for Mr. Kelly and Aaliyah, as well as Aaliyah's birth certificate, according to a court document. While this is all matter of public record, you can always look this up. Always. Oh, and Brittany came in. Oh, Nick. Yeah, you did know me back then. Back in the day. All these things are public record. You can tell who is and isn't. Come on now. Among the evidence prosecutors have collected are records from the Illinois Department of Human Services and the Illinois Secretary of State, the filing said. The new indictment did not specify which agency employed the individual who allegedly took a payoff from Mr. Kelly. This is where this gets even grosser. Aaliyah was 14 when she made her first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, which was released in 1994 and produced by R. Kelly. R. Kelly, an R&B singer whose hit singles include Ignition and the remix, I Believe I Can Fly, has faced long-standing sexual abuse accusations, obviously. Law enforcement scrutiny of Mr. Kelly intensified after 7 women spoke out publicly in a 6-part Lifetime documentary, Surviving R. Kelly, which we did a whole show about. We've done several shows on R. Kelly, but that was one. After the documentary aired, prosecutors in Illinois, New York, and Minnesota filed criminal charges against R. Kelly, leading to his arrest. This goes on and on and on, but I've already done a show on that. The fact of the matter is it's the same thing that I always say about these, like, underage people that end up in hot tubs with Roman Polanski or, at parties with Kevin Spacey. It's like, they didn't magically appear. They didn't drive themselves. They didn't bribe government workers to get them a falsified ID to get a marriage license. They didn't annul, like, those aren't a thing. And furthermore, how do they get how do you get an annulment for a marriage that wasn't valid to begin with? She couldn't enter a contract. She didn't bear the rights to her own signature at the time. She couldn't sign it. She couldn't get herself a freaking P.O. box at 15. I know, I tried. You can't enter any contracts underage. Come on, man. Really? We're supposed to, like, look at all this crap that's coming down the pipeline. Like, we're supposed to believe that all of a sudden Harvey Weinstein is old and feeble and has back problems and he can't remember to charge his little ankle bracelet, but he can go to whatever restaurant and coffee shop he wants in Manhattan. Really? Seriously? Come on. Come on. And that we're supposed to believe that Aaliyah, on her own volition, was like, hey, R. Kelly, let's get married. Let me just go bribe this government worker real fast, get a falsified ID, and then we'll come back and get married. See you tomorrow. Like, that. Stop. Stop. In the 90s, there wasn't even any Uber. Like, come on. Come on. Come on. Ridiculous. So, that's what's going on in the hashtag #MeToo landscape. Mr. R. Kelly, I don't think is due back in court until the spring. So he's going to be sitting around in his cell doing God knows what. And then we'll see what becomes of Mr. Weinstein. Maybe he'll fall and break a hip or something. I mean, God only knows. The stunts that might be pulled in the next couple months. I mean, it's the holidays, you got to get it out. You got to, if you're going to get press, you got to break through all that Frosty and Rudolph nonsense to get, to get to the top of page 6. So that is the conclusion of our 100th episode, if you can believe it. I certainly can't. And I thought for a while that like, oh, I'll do 100 episodes and then I'll bounce. No, I'm definitely doing a lot of bouncing these days. I'm doing a lot of bouncing between countries, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing the show because the show just writes itself. I mean, we just keep doing this. Nick, he's going to have really bad back problems when he's bent over in prison every day. I know, and think of his poor knees. His poor knees. It's going to be so hard on Harvey. So hard. I wonder who's looking for a bear in jail. I wonder if that's a commodity or not. A feeble old bear. Ugh. So gross. So gross. So disgusting. All he had to do was be cool, and he would have the greatest life ever, but he couldn't. He's literally allergic to being cool. And R. Kelly, God only knows what the hell's going on with R. Kelly. Anyway, we have been doing this for 100 episodes, and we're not stopping. We're not. It's not going to happen because the train has left the station. It's not even like a train on the station on land. It is a ship it is sailing. It is sailing for a new frontier. Okay? Pilgrims intact. We're going for it. So, no signs. We're not going to be stopping. No slowing down. None of that stuff. We're going to keep the No Filter Friday rocking until, I mean, I don't know that we'll go full Harry Potter, like maybe not to the bitter end, but we're going to take it to the edge and drop kick it off because it's me. That's how I do things. We take it to the edge and then we drop kick it off, and whatever happens, happens. Wherever we land is wherever we land. I don't know what this is. This is so bizarre. This is so weird. Now it's yellow. How strange. Anyway, thanks for coming by. We're going to do more. I'm going to do more guests. Probably in January. December is going to be hard for me. I don't know what's the pedo apocalypse is in full effect. It absolutely is. The pedo apocalypse is kicking it every day. And one of my favorite quotes, probably of the year, especially surrounding Weinstein, which is that he red-pilled half the world with this Weinstein nonsense. Nick Zeiss says, I wonder which one will have it worse, R. Kelly or Weinstein. I don't know. I don't know what the jail market is for big hairy bears. Shout out to the dogs for being quiet for this episode. It's because I locked them out. They're entertained. They're over there and they're being entertained. They're so rotten. And they've ratcheted up the rottenness because it's the end of 2019 and they got to get it in. Their last little rottenness for the decade. Oh, goodness. Anyway, thank you for coming by for my 100th episode of No Filter Friday on Public House Media. And I wonder, David, do you know if any other if they've made it to 100, congrats, old friend. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for coming on by. I don't know. I don't think we've done a 100 episode celebration for anybody else on Public House Media. I don't think, but I also don't pay very good attention. Obviously, that's why I'm always messing stuff up. So, I agree. Thanks for coming by. Check out other shows on the network, regardless if they've hit 100 or not. It doesn't matter. Particularly like Choose to Rise, for sure, and CJ and Cell, because those ladies just kill it. They just kill it. And it's far more uplifting than this dark and grindiness. So I will see you all next week. Choose to Rise, can't remember if she's had the big thing or for 100 free. I don't know either. I have no idea. The next 2 weeks of episodes are probably going to be short because I'm on production and I'm shooting 6-day weeks, so Sunday to Friday. But my call times, we're shooting 7 to 7s. So I don't know. Maybe this will work out, or maybe I'll get some people from set and it'll be like an on-set No Filter Friday. I don't know because the show writes itself. So I will see you all next week. Leave a comment. Leave a review, leave a star, leave a color, leave a presence, drop a share, all that stuff. I know, right? I know. And the things are the other side of the house. You shouldn't even be able to hear them, but you can. So thanks for coming by. Thanks for doing the hundreds with me. And I will see you all next week in whatever capacity. I don't even know. Bye, 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 bye.